Have you ever felt stuck, like no matter how much you study, how many books you read, how many podcasts you listen to, something is still missing? You're not alone. And today, I want to tell you a story, a very ancient story, that holds the answer to why so many of us feel trapped in our own growth. It's a story about tea, but it's really about you, me, and the invisible walls we build inside our minds. Listen carefully, because by the end of this story, you might start seeing life in a completely new way. Imagine a young, ambitious student. He's traveled across mountains and oceans to find the wisest master in the world. His heart burns with the hunger to learn, to know all the secrets of life. When he finally reaches the master, he feels ready, confident, eager. He sits down and says, "Master, I have read countless scriptures. I have studied under many teachers. I know about philosophy, science, and religion. Now I have come to you to complete my journey. Please teach me the ultimate truth." The old master simply smiles. Instead of answering, he picks up a teapot and a cup, and he begins to pour. At first, the student watches, curious, but the tea rises and rises until it spills over the brim, dripping onto the table, pooling around the cup, and then onto the floor. Still, the master keeps pouring. Confused, the student blurts out, "Stop! The cup is full, no more can go in." The master stops, sets the teapot down gently, and looks into the student's eyes. He says just one sentence so simple, yet so powerful, it holds the key to unlocking every door that has ever kept you from your true potential. What did the master say? And, more importantly, what does it mean for your life today? Stay with me, because the answer might just change everything you think you know about learning, growth, and success. The student sat there, stunned for a moment. He didn't understand. He thought he had come prepared, armed with knowledge, sharpened by years of study, ready to receive the final piece that would complete his puzzle. But instead, all he got was a spilled cup of tea. Was it some kind of joke? Was the master mocking him? Trying to hide his frustration, he leaned forward and said, "Master, I don't understand. Why did you do that?" The master leaned back, his face calm, almost playful. His voice was gentle but firm, like water flowing over rocks. "You are like this cup," the master said, "so full of your ideas, your own beliefs, your certainties, that nothing new can enter." The words sank into the young man's heart, like stones dropped into a still pond, sending ripples across his mind. "But I came here to learn," protested the student. "I came to receive your wisdom." The master smiled even wider. "And you shall," he said. "But first, you must empty your cup." The student looked down at the emptying teacup, now slowly drying on the table. He realized the master wasn't talking about tea at all. He was talking about something far deeper, something inside him, all his opinions, his pride in what he already knew, his need to prove himself as a worthy student. All of it was filling him up so much that there was no space left for true understanding. To learn, to grow, to become truly wise, he would have to let go, he would have to surrender. At that moment, something shifted inside him. A crack formed in the heavy armor of certainty he had worn for so long, and through that small crack, light began to enter. The master poured a fresh cup of tea, this time stopping just before the rim. He gently pushed it toward the student. "This cup," the master said, "is ready to receive because it is empty." The student stared at the cup, then at the master, and something within him crumbled, not from weakness but from awakening. He realized he had been clinging so tightly to his achievements, his identity as a scholar, that he had closed the very door he was desperate to open. Learning is not about adding more. It's about creating space for something new, the master continued, his voice soft but cutting through the air like a blade. When you are full of your knowledge, opinions, and pride, there is no room for truth, no room for wonder, no room for real transformation. The student lowered his head, feeling a deep sense of humility he hadn't known before. For the first time, he understood. True wisdom does not shout. It listens, it does not grasp, it releases. It does not seek to dominate. It surrenders. The Master said, "Empty your cup every day. Every morning, every conversation, every lesson. Approach life as if you know nothing and everything can teach you something." A strange peace washed over the student. Not the peace of knowing, but the peace of not needing to know everything. For the first time in years, he felt light. In that quiet room, filled with the scent of warm tea and ancient wood, a transformation happened, invisible, but irreversible. The student smiled, bowing his head deeply, not from obligation, but from true reverence. He didn't need a long lecture. He didn't need 1,000 books. He had received the most important lesson of all, and from that moment on, he would carry it like a treasure in the empty cup of his heart. The story of the empty cup isn't just about a student and a master. It's about all of us. Because the truth is, every day we carry around invisible cups, and most of the time, they're already full of our assumptions about how life works, full of judgments about ourselves and others, full of fears that whisper, "You already know everything you need to survive." But growth isn't about survival, it's about awakening. If your mind is already full, if you think you know who you are, what you're capable of, what's possible for you, then there's no room left for miracles. No room for a better version of yourself to take root. Think about it. How many opportunities have you missed because you thought, "I already know how this will end"? How many relationships stayed shallow because you assumed you understood someone without truly listening? The Master's lesson is simple but powerful. Real learning starts with humility. Real transformation begins with space. When you empty your cup, you become unstoppable. Because you're not trapped by yesterday's limits, you're open to today's infinite possibilities. The student didn't become wise because he collected more facts. He became wise because he learned how to stay open every single day. And so can you. Today, more than ever, the world needs empty cups. In a world overflowing with opinions, judgments, noise, and endless information, the greatest superpower you can develop is the ability to stay open. Imagine how different your life could look if, instead of rushing to conclusions, you paused. If you allowed yourself to listen deeply, to wonder again, to let life teach you something unexpected. The student who met the Master came searching for a final answer. Instead, he found a doorway, a practice that would lead him to endless growth. And that practice was simple. Empty your cup every day, every moment, because every time you empty your cup, you create space for something bigger than yourself. New insights, new strength, new dreams you never even knew were possible. So today, I invite you, empty your cup. Let go of what you think you already know about your limits, your future, your worth. Be curious again, and if this story touched your heart, even just a little, if you felt a shift, a spark, even the tiniest breath of fresh air inside you, then you're ready. You're more ready than you realize. If you want to keep growing, keep learning, and keep unlocking the incredible potential inside you, then join me on this journey. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and remember, stay humble, stay open, stay unstoppable. Your best self is waiting, just beyond the edge of an empty cup.